What's going on, y'all? This is Josh from Team Super Shoe, and welcome back to another episode of the Shoe Show. We are here yet again with a member of the month, Mr. Mike McMahon. Mike, how are you, man?
Doing great, Josh. Happy to be here. I go by Daytona Mike, by the way.
Daytona Mike. All right. That's what's going to say on the headline. It's member of the month, Daytona Mike. All right. So cool, man. Well, glad to have you here. You've been a friend on the Facebook group Team Super Shoe for a while now, and I kind of wanted to bring you on and get to know you. So where are you from, and what do you do?
I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm currently working for a airport shuttle service parked by the ports. We transport. Pay to park at our lot, and I transport them to the airport and Port Everglades and the cruise port as well. That's what I'm doing just for right now. Grew up a NASCAR fan since I was about almost 10 years old. So been a while. I love it. It's my favorite sport. Wondering how you came across me, if you saw NASCAR Daily, the group that I run, or one of my many podcasts. But happy to be
Yeah,
here.
I think so. I'm not sure how exactly we came across paths, but I think it might have been through NASCAR Daily, and then I think we became friends and we started chatting, and I just thought that we chatted a lot about your faith, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to bring you on and hear your story. But before we do that, you said you do a podcast. Wanted to have you branch out and let all the viewers or listeners know what you do.
Yeah, we started the we it had different names and different guests over the course of the last couple of years, but we would just review the race and just talk about the recent storylines and just kind of our perspective. We also try to get people who were actually at the track to tell us what it was like there from the fans' perspective, which they seemed to like. We did a live show so that they could actually chime in instead of just watching something pre-recorded, so they were involved in it. And we interviewed a couple drivers, some people in industry, and Bill Lester actually gave me the name NASCAR Daily. He came up with it. I had a different name for it, and he suggested it, and it stuck. It's a pretty cool thing to network and connect like this.
Yeah, for sure. I'm 100% there with you. I mean, a couple of years ago, I didn't think I'd be sitting here getting to have these opportunities, and now I get to do this show 3 times a month, and I get to have some pretty cool memories. So, where can everybody find your podcast?
Yeah, we're on we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, NASCAR Daily. I just simplified it and called it the NASCAR Daily Podcast. Been taking some time off to restructure the group and also looking for a new co-host. So I don't do so well talking by myself. I got to bounce ideas off people. I do better that way. But yeah, you can find our old episodes. We got Jeremy Mayfield on there, Ward Burton. I work with Jordan Balasico as well, or Jordan Miller. His podcast. Him and I started as a team, and then his took off, and he's gone a lot further than I have. So some of those interviews are really good, though. My Ward Burton one is easily one of my best, and there's a guy who's friends with Chase Elliott, and he runs the Georgia Hall of Fame, and his name is Cody. I can't name drop him right now, but the interview I did with him went almost 3 hours. So he had a lot to say about the Elliott family and the history of racing in the state of Georgia. He was also featured on the I'm drawing a blank, man. Dale Jr.'s track revival, the
Oh yeah, yeah,
Lost Speedways. He was on Lost Speedways for sure. So those
cool.
are kind of our highlight episodes to watch.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to go back and listen to the Ward Button episode. I can never forget his voice and his I don't know if it's an accent or a lisp, but yeah, my grandfather is a big fan of Ward, and So I'll definitely have to go back and listen to that or watch that on YouTube. So cool, man. Well, where did you discover Corey? How did you get become a fan, and how did you become a fan of NASCAR in general?
This is an embarrassing story. NASCAR in general, we had friends who stayed with us from upstate New York. They came down and put the Daytona 500 on the TV after church. And I was just blown away. I said, this is a real thing. Like cars actually run at high speeds. Like I kind of knew about race cars. I could see Indy cars on 7-Eleven cups, but no one in my family here in South Florida, it was football and basketball and mainly baseball was our, and then hockey came along with the Panthers. But I saw Jeff Gordon leading the Daytona 500 in a rainbow number 24, and I that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then Dad found out about the Intimidator, Earnhardt, and I just, as you know, um, there's like an itch that we get for NASCAR to where we just can't. The more it just pulls us in. We can't escape it. Um, I'm embarrassed to tell the Corey LaJoy story. I wasn't his fan, man. I wasn't. I really wasn't. I was kind of top drivers, Hendrick only. I liked underdogs and interesting stories. I never kind of heard his story. Um, he was on stage 2019 at the ARCA race at Daytona. He was doing an interview. I was waiting. I had just met Matt DiBenedetto. I was waiting for Austin Dillon. And I hear him talking about Boston or something, or the Red Sox, or he's from there, I guess. The LaJoys are from that area, kind of, maybe.
I don't know.
I think I heard him say something about Boston, and that piqued my interest. And it's kind of like, oh, maybe I should, maybe I should meet him. Just kind of didn't, and then just saw him come up, and the whole Spire thing, learning about them with Dale Jr.'s old crew chief Steve Letarte helping out the team like that, and how they took the 77 from, what was it, front row was just a random number in a backup car, and
Yeah.
you know it just turned it into this really impressive situation, turned it around. But more importantly, Corey just impressed me with his social media presence, with the stacking pennies thing, and how he um, how he makes his own way rather than takes handouts and wants to earn it. And then I believe it was this year he posted either on Twitter or his socials on Easter. He said he is risen and publicly stated that he
Yeah.
believes. I don't know what he believes, but he believes in Jesus at least. And I said, how? That's it for me. I mean, I was already kind of rooting for him, but I'm definitely on board the Corey LaJoy train now for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know anything about anything about Massachusetts or anything with them. I do know they have a connection to like Pocono. That's where he met his wife, and I think he's had some success there in like the ARCA series and whatnot. But yeah, but that's interesting, man. And yeah, so you and I we've kind of chatted a little bit, and you and I both share the faith of Jesus Christ, and Corey's also in that realm as well. Kind of want to know hear like your story or anything you wanted to share to the listeners, anything you want to chat about I mean God is good,
For sure. My it's been a wild ride, man. Growing up in the church, I didn't have a choice. I was just there, and it wasn't a good experience overall. Um, Not all of them are. People treat you differently depending on who you are. I just kind of went through life wanting to go in the opposite way. I did my college years of rebellion and just kind of, all this stuff doesn't matter. Everyone's going in a different direction. I want to be with people who accept me, and I want to be accepted. I did that for about 10 years, and then I had kids. And when I had kids, all the fake people faded away, all the noise kind of quieted down, and I started to see life from a different perspective. and I started to see things through God's eyes, and like, oh, this is what life is supposed to be all about. And I started to see my parents from a different perspective, that they had good intentions, they went about it the wrong way. Nobody's perfect, but I forgave them a lot for what they've done, what they did, and grown and healed from that. And honestly, just the basic simple things I learned in Sunday school came back later in my life at the lowest point of my life. And like, I don't want to say a midlife crisis, but I'm Irish. Our life expectancy is about 60 to 70. So as you could say, it's a midlife crisis, man. And I fell back on those simple things that I learned in Sunday school and went along the journey of believing but not following, if that makes sense. Just kind of, I
Right.
believe you, I believe you, God, but I want to do things my way, and I don't want to be outspoken against everyone else or take one side or the other. And that kind of attracted me to the other side because they were so much like, we want everyone. We want everyone to come. And the old school church was kind of like black and white, you
Right.
know? And so I got lost in that. But on this journey I've been on, the more that I learn, the more the closer you want to be to God depends on us and how much we seek Him. And I posted the other day, I said, uh, choosing to accept Jesus is not a once in a life decision. I have to choose it every single day, almost
Yeah.
every hour, not every minute, not to be that dramatic, but in certain situations of road rage where I want to flip somebody off, now
Right.
I put up my hand instead of a finger and I say, have a nice day. God loves you. Have a nice day. Jesus died for you. I don't know why, but he died for you, and I got to roll with that. So it's a daily. Every day you gotta choose God's way over your own.
Yeah, especially in the times that we're living in. It's everybody is obsessed with hatred. I mean, we just saw it. Just this episode will come out on the 27th, but we just saw it a week or so ago with Corey jumping in the 9 car. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, man, God, man, everybody is so obsessed with just everybody has the answers. Everyone wants to rip people down um, and just in general, man, it's so easy to go down that road as opposed to wake up and think to yourself, how am I going to make somebody else's life better today? How am I going to put a smile on somebody's face today? And then how am I going to be an example of the Lord today? How is somebody going to look at me and say there's something different about Mike or there's something different about Josh? And yeah, I didn't grow up in a Christian household. Now, granted, I did go to church. I grew up going to church, but I didn't understand actually accepting Jesus into your heart. I just, nobody ever explained it to me. And
Mm-hmm.
in high school is when I actually was brought to it. We have a thing out here called Judgment Day, and it's like this play, and they have
Is it
um,
Judgment House?
Judgment House. I thought it was Judgment Day. It might be Judgment House.
We have
Um,
Judgment House was like a haunted house for Halloween.
Yeah, no, this one was just about a story about somebody who, people who are saved and who are different weren't saved and people that went to heaven and hell and
Mm-hmm.
but it was a way to open up eyes to teenagers or preteens and it did to me. And granted, when I first got saved, I was really more of like thinking, well, man, if this is real, it's just kind of like a safety blanket, right? It's like I better, I don't want to go to hell. So if this is legit, let me do whatever I need to do. I didn't really fully grasp, the ride that I was, buckling up for. So, but throughout the years, I've grown closer and closer to God, and have realized all the sins and things. And every day I go to work and I pray to God. Many things. One of them is, I always say please forgive me for any sins that I've done, um, anything that I have lived such a sinful life that there's stuff in my life that I'm doing that I'm sinning and I don't even know I'm sinning. So I always say, open my eyes to that. And, we'll never I don't, unless you're, somebody that studies the Bible and is much smarter than me, you'll never truly know all the little sins that you do throughout your life because you're just so used to it. Um, but I mean, that's the biggest difference between Christians and non-Christians. It's not that neither one of us are perfect. Neither one of us are poster boys for what we believe. It's about, that you understand that you're screwed up and you need help, and that, that there's a reason we're here, So, so yeah, man. Well, Mike, cool, man. Well, I just wanted to kind of bring you on, chat a little bit, get to know you. I try to make the Team Super Show on Facebook a community. I want everybody to kind of feel like we can all kind of become friends and people can reach out. And, as much as Corey is slowly getting bigger, I like to be able to keep everybody down to earth and say, hey, listen, we're all the same. We're all just a bunch of buddies, so cool, man. Well, I just appreciate it, man. You have any races you're coming up to? You're going to go to the rest of the year? Or?
Well, I always got to represent at Homestead, Miami. That's my home track, local. I try to make it up to Daytona as much as I can, but as single parent, I don't always make it up there. That's a bit more of a trek, but definitely you'll usually catch me at Homestead, Miami Speedway for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, Homestead's a great track. So cool, man.
I hope they never pave it. Don't ever pave Homestead, please.
Yeah, that progressive banking, man. That's it's some good racing. So
it's something else. Larson put on Larson did his thing, but in the closing laps, we had Allmendinger and Chastain going at it, and they were just pound for pound. It doesn't get any better than that. It honestly doesn't.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming on the Shoe Show, and just cool to get to talk to you, man. Thank you.
God bless you, brother. Keep it up.
All right. God bless you, man. See you.